My life has felt like it's been falling apart for a while now. I lost my son a year ago, and I had already lost my wife. Only 5 months ago, I started leaving the house again, engaging with family and going to therapy. I also recently joined a support group. My mental health is far from perfect, but it's improving little by little. I could talk about my son without falling apart, but a week ago, I knew his birthday was coming up, the first one since I lost my boy. My sister called me and said it would be nice if we did something special to honor his memory. I said that she was free to do something if she'd like, but I don't have the heart in me to celebrate that day. It was just going to be too much, and I decided I'd instead not do anything. I preferred not to see anyone and be at home where I could be in private. My sister went ahead and organized something because I received a call from my mom asking to come help move some boxes. She and my dad are cleaning out their attic. So I thought maybe she wanted to distract me that day by having me do some physical work. Instead, I found my sister with her family, my parents, 5 other aunts and uncles, and several cousins all there. Photos of my son around the living room with candles and his favorite dishes prepared. Just the smell of his favorite foods was too overwhelming for me, and all I remember was walking right out with my mom and sister calling after me. They stopped me at my car. My sister kept urging me to go inside and be with everyone because we were all grieving. I know I shouldn't have, but I snapped at both of them for setting me up for something I said no to already. My sister had hoped I'd change my mind when I got there and saw the whole family. Both tried to get me to go back into the house, but I drove off. When I got home, I had several missed calls from my family. They were all upset I didn't stick around, especially my sister, who wanted this to be something special to honor my son's memory. My mom said she understood I'm still grieving, but that does not excuse me from walking off the way I did and snapping at my sister. The way I reacted made the whole thing uncomfortable, and the energy wasn't good after that. So my sister is unhappy the birthday get-together for my son didn't go as planned, and my mom thinks I should have handled it better. So yes, at the moment I am having a hard time seeing if what I did was truly wrong. I know my family loves me, and sometimes they want to help, but I had made it clear already I wanted no involvement. My emotions get the best of me sometimes, so I'd like to know if in this case I was an idiot for my reaction. You're not the idiot, but I think your sister is. She made the day about what she wanted and wanted you to grieve the way she wanted. She made the day all about her. The only person whose opinion matters is you. No one else gets a vote on how you grieve. No one gets to ambush a grieving parent like this. I am beyond furious at your sister and mother, OP. You are the idiot, not in a super bad way, but you shouldn't have snapped at your family for trying to help you. In this story, everybody is sad. You mentioned that you didn't leave your house for 6 months. This is also probably why they lured you into this. They don't want you to live this alone and they want to support you. You cannot be mad at them for that, even if you'd rather be alone. Creating a ritual such as a birthday celebration is not an unhealthy way of confronting or dealing with grief. It may work well for them. Trying to trick someone into participating in a sad ritual, especially when they said no to it, is a huge idiot move and completely disrespectful. Not the idiot. You made it clear that you had no interest in getting involved in this, and what your sister did, while well-intended, was wrong. Both she and your mother should have accepted your decision and respected your boundaries. What she did amounts to emotional blackmail. You made it clear that you wanted no part of this tribute. Your sister decided that you should, regardless of your decision, and she gathered the whole family together, making it difficult for you to bow out without looking like an idiot. She and your mother owe you an apology for not respecting your wishes. Recently, my girlfriend and I bought and moved into our very first house together. We're both very excited to start this chapter of our lives. My girlfriend invited both her parents and my mom for a special dinner. My girlfriend, her parents, and I are both vaccinated. It was an early dinner set outside to help with everything. My girlfriend is half Korean, and she told my mom beforehand that she'd be serving Korean food at this dinner. My mom didn't raise a complaint and was rather excited about dinner. My girlfriend spent a lot of time and effort on the dishes. She made cabbage soup, sesame broccoli, eggplant in a zucchini dish, shrimp pancakes, steamed tofu, and egg salad. When my mom saw what was on the table, she was visibly confused. She asked my girlfriend, in front of her parents, where the real Korean food was. When my girlfriend told her that this was real Korean food, she got visibly agitated and started complaining about how she expected sushi or something. My girlfriend, slightly annoyed and offended, asked her to at least try the food, and my mom couldn't even touch it. I pulled my mom aside and told her that her behavior was disrespectful, racist, and that I wanted her to go. She started yelling and made a fuss about how the host, my girlfriend, and I were expected to treat the guests better than how my girlfriend was treating her. My mom made a huge deal of everything, but finally agreed to leave my house. My mom had to call a taxi, and though my girlfriend was extremely irritated with my mom, she felt a little guilty to leave her alone hungry while she was waiting for her ride to come. So my girlfriend offered to make mom a sandwich, and my mom declined, insisting on being served real fancy food at this supposedly fancy dinner. My girlfriend even offered her a pack of crisp and nuts. However, my mom refused all of it. She ended up eating the nuts though. My girlfriend gave up and left my mom alone. However, my mom kept insisting on being included back at the dinner, despite her unwillingness to eat anything. I had to practically yell at her to tell her to shut up. She left, and the next day I received a bunch of angry texts from my mom, aunt, and dad, telling me how horrid my girlfriend and I were for letting my mom starve. Not the idiot. You didn't let her starve. You served her food she didn't like the look of, and which she refused to try. You offered her a sandwich, which she also refused, and she ate nuts. What you did was create a scene and embarrass you and your girlfriend in front of her parents. You did nothing wrong, and she acted like a badly behaved child. Not the idiot. Your mom threw a temper tantrum because she was told Korean food would be served, and then when it was cooked and served, instead of taking a big dose of humble pie and letting herself be educated, she threw a fit. Also, isn't sushi more commonly associated with Japanese culture? Their mom's level of entitlement and emotional immaturity is astounding. Who behaves like that in front of other people? It's so rude, I'm mind blown. If that were my mom, I would have been completely mortified. I am, however, very proud of OP for having such a shiny spine to stand up for their girlfriend. Very firm boundaries and very harsh consequences for breaking them is the only thing that works for this level of entitlement. And I wonder if this is her normal behavior or some ugly intolerance rearing its head. My wife and I got together when we were 18. We lived in the same freshman dorms. She was always very strong-willed, motivated to the point of pushing herself too hard, intensely loyal to her friends, very smart, take-no-crap type of person. I admired all of that about her and still do in a lot of ways. But now we're in our early 30s, and we're parents to a toddler. And some of the things that were admirable when we were 18 are becoming frustrating when we're 33 and have a daughter. First, her strong will and motivation to do sports. 1 month after our daughter's birth, she resumed her intense fitness regimen. Unfortunately, she pushed herself too hard a few times, to the point where she needed to be looked after due to an injury. It was frustrating because we were already overwhelmed with a baby. Plus, I've grown to be afraid of taking risks that could potentially leave our daughter without a parent, but my wife doesn't have that fear, it seems. Next, with work, she's thrown herself into it, and a year ago, she decided that her job was not serving her well, so she went looking for a new one. She got a significant pay bump, but this job also has worse demands on her time and mental energy, and she seems preoccupied with work all the time. On the other hand, my focus has shifted a lot from work to family, and I've made some career moves to get involved in less demanding projects. Next is her huge loyalty to her friends. She took it on herself to be doing grocery and supply delivery duty for 3 friends who got sick simultaneously, even though they could afford to get delivery. Then she'd take our daughter in the car to the grocery and drop off at 3 houses at night and would mess up her sleep schedule because it took longer than she'd expected. It feels like she's still putting her girls group first, even when it has an impact on our family. She's also been more of a disciplinarian than I like. She doesn't seem to understand that a toddler needs to be treated differently than an adult because they won't remember rules and the link between rules and consequences in the same way. Every single time I bring any of this up, she always says that I knew her when I got together with her. I've known her for years. And what makes me think she changed the core parts of herself after getting pregnant? Like if I didn't want a parent alongside her, as she is, why did I get her knocked up? I got upset at hearing that because I assume that people's lives and lifestyles change when they become parents. And it felt like she was stuck in time since college. She was angry I said that, and that's kind of where we left things. Am I the idiot for what I said to my wife? Not the idiot. I am what I am is such a terrible excuse for irresponsible behavior. Having a child absolutely requires you to change your lifestyle. How does a 33-year-old not understand that it means less money to spend on fun things, less time for yourself, having to learn to be more patient, and generally having more responsibilities? Not the idiot. The woman is taking unnecessary risks going out during a pandemic to drop off food and things for people who can perfectly afford a service specifically designed for that. Not only that, she's taking her kid along for the ride and messing up the kid's sleep schedule. The adventures and whatever is cool, but not the same as being adventurous when you're 18 than when you're 33 and have a spouse and a kid to look after. You are the idiot. What? What is with all the people saying you aren't? Let me get this straight. You're mad because your wife dares to still do the following as a mom? Number 1, work out. Number 2, work. Number 3, support her friends. It sounds like you need hobbies and friends, my dude. I'm so glad someone asked this question because I was just utterly lost with this entire story. Yes, certain things change after becoming a parent. However, it sounds like this woman is still caring and there for her child. Therefore, I don't understand why anyone would call her an idiot here. As long as she's consistently there for her child, that's all that matters. OP said he just assumed she would change. It seems like she's always maintained that this is who she is and the lifestyle she intends to have, regardless of children. So getting angry after the fact that she's not living up to his assumption is unhelpful. So my ex has a very particular idea of how a child should be raised. One of the things he didn't want to budge on was his belief that a mom should stay home with their children until at least when the children are in full-time education. And even then, he thinks they should only work during school hours so they're at home when the children are. At first, I was 100% against this because it puts me in a very vulnerable situation. However, the first week after giving birth, I had a change of heart, and I ended up signing a contract with my ex where I would effectively be a stay-at-home mom and he would give me, quote, mom support. A few months ago, I was offered an amazing part-time work-from-home position through a friend. Honestly, it was too good for me to turn down, and I had been having doubts about what I had agreed to since our son was a year old. He's almost 4. My ex was my sole income, and he owns the house I'm living in, so he has a lot of power over my life. So much so that sometimes when discussing things about our son, I would concede to his wants because I didn't want to rock the boat. I didn't tell my ex because I knew he wouldn't like it, and I didn't think the role would interfere with me caring for our son since it was only 20 hours a week. Unfortunately, our son said something that made my ex figure it out. My ex was furious. He wanted me to quit immediately, and when I said no, he said I could either quit or we could work this out through the courts. He said I had breached our contract and said I was being selfish since he was taking care of my every need and want. And he said I was a fool since he doubted my job was paying me better than what he was giving me. So I had no excuse to not focus my time and energy on our son. Am I the idiot? Guess what? He legally owes you child support, and you're allowed to work. Great news. Signing this contract is some next-level narcissistic controlling behavior on his part, and honestly strange. You need to get some legal advice ASAP. You're not the idiot. There's no way a contract like this would be upheld in court. Besides, the judge will side with the mom 99.8% of the time, even when they shouldn't. Let him take it to court, work out custody, and have him pay child support. Then live your life the way you want to. Child support is not the same as mom support. One is for the child, and the other is for the mom. I guess that mom support is higher than child support, and since her ex also owns the house, OP would run into financial problems if the ex no longer pays mom support. The ex is an idiot, but depending on what contract they have, he might be legally right. OP must definitely seek legal and financial advice on this matter and look for a job so that she no longer has to rely on her ex's money, because I don't think a 20-hour job would be enough. Exactly. This whole thing is ridiculous, but she chose to sign it. She didn't have to, and should not expect the same money from him if she wants a job. I wonder the difference between what he's giving her now and what she'll get if she takes him to court for child support. Dude's an idiot big time, but she chose to sign it. I, 47 male, have 2 children, Lisa nearly adult, and Dan 1 year younger. Their mother isn't very active in their lives, but that's a different matter. I love Lisa more than life, and she doesn't do anything that would make someone call her trouble, but she's not as mature as others her age. I have to remind her pretty often to do her homework, feed the dog, do her laundry, and clean her bathroom. Maybe that's just teenage stuff, but it does feed into the issue, to be honest. When she got her permit, I took her driving several hours a week, and she was kind of aloof, messing with the radio, checking her cell phone, forgetting to check her mirrors often. But I will say she was always aware of her speed. She ran a red light once because she was looking at the light from a different section and hit the gas when it turned green. She realized what she did before I could even clench my cheeks, but that could have gone very bad. I decided that she wasn't ready for the responsibility quite yet, and we would keep practicing and learning for 6 months before coming back to reevaluate. She wasn't happy with my decision, but I wanted to protect her. Dan isn't the polar opposite or anything, but he seems to watch his sister and learn from her mistakes. I rarely have to ask him to do his chores, and when he got his permit, it was night today. He made sure everyone was buckled, aware of his actions, and alert to his actions. It was apparent he was ready for the road after 3 months. My daughter is not taking this news well at all. She feels embarrassed and downright angry. She thinks I'm favoring him, while I don't think I am at all. I get she's a year older, but I can't risk her life and the lives of others, right? Am I wrong here? I don't want to cause a divide between my kids or myself. I want my daughter to be happy, but I also want her to be safe. Not the idiot. She sounds like a danger to everyone on the road, and the fact that she doesn't recognize that makes it even scarier to think about her driving, unsupervised. But work with her regularly, and if she needs extra instruction and supervision, make yourself available for that. Tell her you'll go out for practice more, and most importantly, if she even picks up her phone while driving, that's another 3 months to wait. She seems easily distracted, and that's the number one temptation. If she kills someone, she can't take it back by saying sorry. Not the idiot, but are you sure that you having to remind her to do regular tasks all the time is just regular teenage stuff? ADHD and similar are notoriously underdiagnosed in women because they don't present in women the way they do in men. I'd suggest doing a little research into the symptoms, and if that sounds like your daughter, get her in to talk to a professional. I'm torn on this one. You are the idiot because you could have handled it better. If her driving is as you've described, she would have failed the driving test, and it might have been the wake-up call she needed. If you were teaching her how to drive, you should have started with a rule of no distractions, radio off, cell phone off, and in her bag. If she wasn't checking her mirrors when she should have been, you needed to remind her. Perhaps you should consider finding a professional instructor. More practice time isn't going to help her without correcting her mistakes. It'll just ingrain bad habits.